Videos concerning Minecraft. I don't do very many videos on this subject. For me, it's not really all that interesting most of the time, but in 2010, a 4chan X or paranormal board post involved a Minecraft Alpha 1.0.16 underscore 02 screenshot with either a placeable 2D picture or a human monsters mob entity or a Steve player with the irises of the eyes turned white. And the story of Herobrine was created. The Internet Archive Wayback Machine or 4chan server or the 4chan leech PNG bandwidth limiter blocked the original image and or story post being archived. So the oldest image repost has a Unix time, if you use the file name, of 2010 September 31st. That's based on the JPEG title name, and that can be faked, or it can be just wrong. 22 years passed before a 2023 online group reverse engineered the world seed as that number you're seeing, and the coordinates as X is 5.06, Y is 71, and Z is 298.54, and then did not find the monster there. So it shows that if you grab the original game and go to the original location the image shot was taken, it doesn't show up. I'm proposing that this could have actually happened, but I'm not saying it did. I'm pretty sure it's a faked image because it was done as a creepypasta. However, let's move on. This is the original story. Read it at your leisure. It will be cut and paste below in the description as a text file. This is the screenshot image. Now, the part of this is interesting is, let's just go over what we see in the screen. This is the person looking straight at a chicken character. Okay, it's a mob entity that runs around. It doesn't hurt you, at least it shouldn't, and you can hunt them and that sort of thing. The person has 13 wood blocks, which means they've been cutting down trees, and they have 2 pickaxes, wooden pickaxes. And in the background, we see what looks like a player character, but the eyes are completely whited out. Now, the story that went along with it was accompanied with pictures, but right now all we have are some images and people recreating the situation by literally building a level up to the point of even growing grass and letting it grow in the game long enough to be able to do an image like this and reproduce this. But again, the way 4chan was set up and then the weird and very unpleasant stuff sometimes happening, most of this could not be archived. Even pieces that are archived just aren't really properly archived. I found all the links I could. I might try to recover more data, but relevant subject matter aside, this is what it looked like right there. So let's look at the character. That's a zoom in on it, and it's all JPEG to death. The only thing we get that is prominent is that the eyes are either white or the wrong color for the pupils. Now let's compare that to the Herobrine creature. It's actually a monster entity. In the game, there was a player-like character, an NPC, that looked almost exactly the same as the Steve character, and you could spawn them and they'd run around and do goofy stuff, and you get the idea. Anyway, this is the skin that most people are assuming it's doing. Again, looking at this, we don't really get any data. It's in the fog, and I want to point out the fog is a particle effect in the game that could technically white out the eyes. But let's move forward. This is the Steve character, and I'm going to go back. This is the monster character. Now, most people are just assuming that you just white out the eyes, and that makes sense. But I want to point out something about this skin. Now, this is a modern version of the original skin without a beard. There's normally a beard underneath here. What if we find out if the eyes are a unique color in the image? Now, again, this is a modern recreation. I don't have the original bitmap. That's a whole other thing. But this is, the red eyes doing that is caused by me setting the background image in this image by going over it with the paint tool and right-clicking it to say, I want you to make this the background image. And then I copied this and then pasted it to a red background image. So if this turns red, that means that color matches whatever I clicked. There aren't any other parts of the image that are that. What that means is that you could have the game for a few minutes or a few seconds, have a Steve or the human monster, quote unquote, human or monster mob character in the background, just standing there and have just that one color, the eyes, be blacked out and end up this. And as you can tell, it could be done by transparency error. This happens in video games a lot. If you have the color palette rotate, the color palette get broken, or the quote-unquote alpha or transparency color gets screwed up. In fact, in downloading this image and this image, that white background turned black in one of my editors because it's actually an alpha channel, a background color. And this is how the skins look on screen, at least on the page that I got it from. The point is that this could have been caused, again, our creature looking like this, could have been caused by a unique color in the skin just not rendering correctly because of it being broken in the game engine. And that would have caused almost the same effect. And it could have been one of those mob characters that could have spawned. Or the person could have spawned it, not knowing by hitting a certain key that it would spawn it, might have run right past it, and it might have just been running around, goofing around, and being an NPC. Anyway, this was a 2010, August 19th, 4chan paranormal board on 4chan posting that is probably faked. Hundreds of methods for causing this to happen, including 2D pictures that were available being dumped in an image and then, whatever. And it doesn't help that an archiver or two didn't archive anything. I want to point out that when archives refuse to save things or erase things, it usually has to be a pretty extreme thing, but when it happens, it makes it to where we don't end up with mysteries. It ends up with we end up with, in my opinion, a tragedy because we can't look at the original posting. It is really, really annoying when a board gets raided over and over again by people trying to get rid of it by them posting quote-unquote illegal imagery. You can go look up what they did. I'm not going to bring it up. And it just causes this kind of crap to happen. It also doesn't help that 4chan was notorious for refusing to let you archive it, just like Twitter is right now, or maybe your Facebook page. And there's the story, and I'll have it cut and pasted below. And it's just doing a picture-to-text conversion. And it's an interesting little story. Anyway, there is the screenshot, and they've been able to recreate the world. Whether you enable or disable fog, you see it. You also see that our little monster character didn't have anywhere to run to. If the person ran from here after it, even though they're speed limited, if it was one of the mob characters, even if it was a broken skin or whatever, it wouldn't have been able to outrun them if they chased after it, as is depicted in most videos. And now that the world seat has been recreated, we know that this curves to the left, and this creature would have to go behind the tree here that's further back, and then run down the hill very fast and just not be noticed, which doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I just thought this was an interesting story. And yeah, it could have actually been just a glitch in the game. That does happen. It even happens currently. But it has to happen because of some reason, right? Well, the most likely reason would have been a damaged floating point processor function or a broken or glitched file. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I wish you all luck with all of it.